Hey guys, Jonathan here with Colorado Custom Covers and Decks. Just want to go over how we're installing the cable railing for the Deckorators ALX. So this is a sweet system. We love using this. It's all aluminum. Cables are stainless steel, and you can see how this cable looks, how this railing looks, all the mid posts and the posts in there. It just looks really sleek and nice and clean. So I'm going to go over what we do as far as rolling out the cable, pulling the cable through, tightening the post or tightening the nuts at the end, and then cinching them down. So we'll go through the whole thing. It'll be a little bit of a detailed video, but first what I like to do is unroll the cable. So they got it all twisted up in here pretty good, but just make sure you unroll it all. And I like to do two cables, pull two cables through at a time, just to try to be as efficient as possible. You might be able to get three, but two seems to work out pretty good. So what I'll do is I'll just start it here and just roll it out. So these cables come in different lengths. So on this one we have a little bit more excess. I usually order a little bit more, but I could have got a 20 instead of a 40. But so just be aware of that. Make sure your runs and what your runs are going to be, so you order the right length of cable. So then you just roll the other one out again. Out like that just makes it easier to pull it all the way through. So they have these black little tabs on there that keep this from fraying, but they don't fit through the post, so you got to take them off anyways. And if you're running through the post and sometimes they get frayed up, like that, all you have to do is just retwist it, and then you just keep going with it. This is all going to get cut off anyway, so if it gets a little damage, it's not a big deal. Just got to make sure you get it through the holes. So we'll show you that here real quick. Another thing, we like to just run all this cable before we really start tightening it all down. One, because sometimes it's easy, I already did it, is skip a hole and then you get the cable all messed up, and if you start tightening it all down, then you're in trouble and you got to just cut it and have all new wire and everything. So just make sure you're following your whole pattern. This is the hardest part, is getting it through the big post. Because this hole isn't too bad, but once you start going through that mid post, those holes are a little tough. So just kind of run it through. So this is the hardest one you're going to have, is going through these big posts. These holes are pretty small, so you got to kind of look and see where it's coming out and push it through. I like that the holes are nice and tight because it gives you a cleaner look at the end. So just take your time when you're pulling it through. So just like that, and then Ron will show you how we start tightening down the bolts. Put down the bolts at the end.
All right. So down here at this end of the cable, the other end is a threaded shaft, and the hardware comes in a bag. So what you're going to do, depending on your application, there's different applications for wood posts or metal posts, in this case metal posts. So you would set up your threaded rod with your plug first. This is going to match the pole and give it a nice clean look. Then your washer, and then the nut. And you want to tighten the nut all the way to where it's flush on the threaded shaft. And then that will create a stop for when the cable comes tight. And you obviously save the rest of the hardware for the other end. So come with me, we'll do that. So here's the other end of our run, and what I'll do first is I'll take all of my excess to where I had put my stop, so that marries into the post at the other end.
A little more, yep, good.
Like that. I always leave myself a good amount extra for workability, so we'll go a good 20 inches or so past and just cut that excess off. And then for the rest of the hardware, we'll put a seal on this stop like that, and then the washer like so, and you take your wire that you cut off and you just push it through until it comes through like that, and then you just slide everything up tight. Make sure your cable's tight by pulling on it. You just fit that right in there like that, and that's subbed in enough to where we can tighten it up at this point.
So come over here, we'll start tightening it down. We'll just do a little demo because we don't have everything in, but so what you want to do is find the center one and then go tighten that and tighten that one and just jump back and forth. All right, and usually what you got to do is just tighten it down, you know, a good tight, not super tight, and keep working it back and forth, because if you just try to get it all the way tight the first round, you're just going to be chasing yourself. So you want to get it tight, but not super tight, and then you're gonna have to do that probably 2 or 3 times, just starting in the middle and going back and forth, check your tightness, do it again. And so you use 1/8 inch Allen key here, 1 2 3 4 5, that's our center. I'll put that on there, and then I'll just go through and start tightening it. And as we're tightening it, it's pulling on the other end that Ron just sucked through. So now it's going to start pulling this cable nice and tight. So there, I got that one pretty tight right there. That might have been even just a little too tight for the first round. But so then what we'll do is go through, get all that good, nice and tight. And as we go through and jump back and forth and tighten them all, making sure they're all nice and evenly tight, because obviously, you know, we still got to go through and tighten these. Then what we'll do then is take the grinder and we'll come here and cut off this end here, and then they have a nice decorative cap that will go over it and sit right in there like that. So it'll sit right over there like that, a nice clean finish. On the other end we'll do the same thing. So we'll cut the end where the cable is, we'll cut it right there, usually with the grinder, so we can get it close, make sure we don't damage anything. And then it'll go on with a cap and look nice and clean. We'll show you a picture when we're all done. Hopefully this helps. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. And thanks for watching.